How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Emnix Plays Path of Exile. Hardcore solo self-found. I want to do the lab. I've been doing a little bit of leveling, and there's always the concern, right? Like, oh, I don't want to die. And one of the ways to not die is to have the permanent fortify. So, if possible, I would like to do that lab right now. So, what I'm gonna do is once I get my ascendancy points, I'm probably gonna refund a few so that I can get permanent fortify. Because I do have 2 of the ascendancy points allocated already. But those 2 allocated ascendancy points don't path towards fortify, and unless I want to get those stats on my merciless ascendancy, which I don't, I want to do it now, or I want to get it now, I'm gonna have to do the refund, right? Like right here, I want to get the fortitude. Currently I have conquer, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna refund these 2, and I'm gonna pick up unstoppable hero, and then once I'm done with this lab, I'm gonna get fortitude as well. So that's the plan here. Now this level is 55, I'm 67, so I'm super over leveled. So this shouldn't be an issue, I think. Yeah, especially once I get so many stacks up on my Herald of Agony. I'm not racing, so like I'm not under leveled, I'm super over leveled, and I think my gear is pretty decent as well. So I'm pretty confident we can do this like quite easily. The only concerning thing right now is that my regen is kind of bad. So right now my mitigation, like my damage mitigation, is just straight up armor, fortify, and really that's about it. And then, you know, obviously you have the HP buffer, but say you get hit multiple times, I don't really have a real form of mitigation, right? I have blind on my totems, which I suppose is mitigation, and armor. Really, that's about it. So I'm hoping for another layer of defense. I don't have HP regen, which is typically something that I rely on, that I use as a crutch very often, actually, in most of my builds. I don't know if necessarily that's a good thing, but if I want to be tanky, I typically always go for, you know, large amounts of life regen. Versus something like a lot of block, a lot of armor, and maybe it's something you just need to get used to. I mean, if you can get a stupid amount of armor, right? With Molten Shell, that can lead to a lot of mitigation, you know? So I suppose it all really depends on how we use our defenses. Actually, that's true. If I just build up a lot of armor, Molten Shell would help me a lot. So right now I have 3k armor, which for this level I'm assuming is like decent. I don't know. Alright, I got max stacks on the Herald of Agony. Okay, okay. Phase 2 was done very easily. And from the looks of things, phase 3 is gonna be just fine, really. Time crank and a random switch? What is this? So I'm hoping probably tomorrow, because it's kind of late into the night already. But hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to get into Act 10, right? Because now that I'm back to work, the streaming schedule is gonna be significantly reduced. Even though I took a couple days off, I wasn't able to play hardcore like I thought I would, you know. Instead of playing like 12 hours, playing all day, all night to try and level, I slept like a normal person. I got like 10 hours of sleep. Maybe I even got more sleep than I normally do. And maybe I only played like, how much have I played so far? 22 hours. Actually, that's a lot, isn't it? I must have gone for like at least 5 hours a day. So I guess my leveling is just a little slow. I'm taking it very easy on hardcore. And to be fair, a lot of those 22 hours is me just, you know, I have the game open and I would play like Dota or something, which to be honest, is very bad. I would play like a different game and then and play PoE whenever, you know, I'm dead, or I'd be watching TV and playing PoE. And typically when that happens, I try to play something that's like an easy zone, like a low level zone, where even if I'm not paying attention, I wouldn't die. Sometimes I go delving a little bit, so I've been doing that. So I have been trying to play a little bit offline, just to get my levels and my gear up to par. I haven't found anything, to be honest. Most of the stuff I found, I would say 90%, 95% of the stuff I found have all been on stream, so you guys haven't missed out on much. I think I just get some random currency while I'm farming offline, which is probably good too, because that stuff is necessary, you know? Wow. Okay, we did very well here, huh? This was very easy, and honestly, it should have been. I'm not surprised that it was this easy. Oh, here's a good question. Do I even want to keep using the skull head? It is 4-linked. I don't have a good helmet to replace it with, to be honest. I have some ES helmets with decent life, but no resistances. You know what? I would say this helmet is pretty good. Oh wait, this isn't even... This is cruel. This isn't even merciless. What am I talking about? Okay, these boots are insane. 30 move speed, 34 lightning resist, 85 life, 6% chance to dodge attack hits if you've taken a critical strike. That's pretty good too. Okay. Alright, so now that I get my 2 points, let's refund these. So it costs 10 refund points. It's pretty insane. We don't have that many orbs of regret, so I'm glad that I didn't spend too many of my refund points early on. How many regrets do I have? Oh, I have 11. That's actually quite a bit. Huh, I didn't even know. Okay, let's open this. Let's open this. We didn't get much.
I believe in traveling light.
We didn't get much at all. And that's okay, you know? I wasn't expecting to get anything here. And let's just get out. Now that we have permanent fortify, I'm gonna assume that I'm, you know, a lot tankier.
You get him, boy.
So that is that a safe assumption? I think that's a safe assumption. Oh, this is a pretty good helmet too. Look at that, 75 life, 27 fire resistance, 34 lightning resistance, 4-linked. This chest armor is pretty decent too. 73 life, 24 cold resistance. What's this? Oh, it's a 5-link. I can't get rid of the 5-link. Okay, fine. I was just gonna say, I was looking at this piece of armor. I'm like, it's pretty garbage, right? Like, it's a pretty shitty piece of armor. But it has triple resistances and I suppose a little bit of life, but overall, it's not a very good piece of body armor.
Good luck to you.
This helmet, on the other hand, It's pretty good. Has more life. 19 to all resistances. Like, when I look at this piece of armor, really all I'm looking at, like the mana, it doesn't matter. Not really. Right? So really it's just 63 life, 19 all resist. A blue item, potentially, could be just as good. But the 19 all resist is pretty important because that's pretty much, it's 57 total resistance, 57%. This one has 34 plus 27, so actually the total resistance is 61, so that's actually more. That's actually more, which makes me think that potentially you would actually want to replace this. Oh, here's a question. You need 3 blues or 3 reds. 3 reds is pretty hard to roll. You know, you could be here rolling for a pretty long time to get 3 reds. Yeah, I'm not gonna keep trying. I'm down to 20 chromes. I'll keep this helmet. I don't want to lose cast when damage taken molten shell. So that's probably gonna be an upgrade that I'm gonna do. Here's something that I could do though. I could re-roll this chest. Like I was saying, you know, the chest is pretty garbage. So I could throw an essence on it. Like this. Like that's pretty good, right? It has a lot more life. I don't need resistances. So this is perfectly fine. And then we can roll with that. And now we have 3,900 life. Okay. That looks really, really good. We have a lot of life on our gear. I'm really happy about that. 3,900 makes me comfortable going into like Act 9, Act 10, you know? So, let's see, 12 minutes. It's getting late. I do want to finish it up, but let's try and finish the act actually. You know, in 20 minutes we can probably do that pretty easily. So, let's run over here. All we have to do is we have to get the moon orb, right? And then we beat the boss. Was the act boss difficult? I can't remember, and I feel like... Actually no, I remember he did quite a bit of damage, right? The act boss. Contains a timeless monolith. Definitely we want to upgrade that. I don't know if we have very good clear speed actually when it comes to doing monoliths or legion content, but I guess we'll give it a try. Okay, just make sure to actually kill the boss. Don't forget that. Pure volatile instead. I should start thinking about doing curse on hit as well, eh? Maybe dropping the faster attack support gem, doing curse on hit and feeble. Because currently it's the golem that's applying curse on hit. But you probably want Rain of Arrows to apply that instead. It's a little bit more consistent, I would think. Okay, going for more HP over here. Sire of Shards. Interesting card.
Hello, Exile.
Is the temple available? No, 2 more. If I could get a timeless jewel, that would be very interesting as well. And we could potentially build around that. But that's like dreaming really far into the future, right? I don't know if that would necessarily be a thing.
There you are. Ready to revisit the past.
Strong boxes, okay. It's pretty easy. Nothing to worry about here. I'm very surprised that we're actually doing okay against legions. We're not legions, the incursions. I'm assuming it's because we're just so over leveled. Seven levels. Oh wait, no, it's 9 levels over leveled. So we're almost 10 levels above the content. You know, that would sort of explain why we're having such an easy time with the content. The exception, of course, is the Metamorphs. The Metamorphs are always a pain in the butt, you know. Not much you can do there. You just kind of have to tough it out and build single target. This is why it's a single target league. You know, it's not just the Metamorphs actually. Apparently the Conqueror bosses are also pretty tough too. So really this is a very much a bossing league, and they balanced, or at least they tried to rebalance the game as well, right? So now monsters are more difficult, you know, they hit harder, they have more HP. Shaper has like 4 times more HP than he had before. It's just crazy. Crazy how much the game changes every 4 months. You think you understand it, and then 4 months later, just nothing makes sense anymore. Unless, of course, you're one of the streamers. I think a lot of guys, you know, dedicate a lot of time. You don't necessarily need to dedicate a lot of time to understand this game, but you need to concentrate. You need to be focused. As an example, you know, I play a lot. I think I do at least, but I don't actually know the game that well. Mostly because I just don't dedicate the time to learning more about the game. Instead, I just want to play. I don't want to think about it. And that's not necessarily a good thing, you know?
I believe in traveling light.
I would think that somebody who's a little bit more focused on the game, reads the patch notes maybe, would potentially be more successful than someone like I, right? But yeah, nevertheless, you know, the game changes so much that at this point I've sort of, I wouldn't say given up, but I'm okay with just knowing 50% and then figuring out the rest through gameplay, you know, through deaths or through, you know, in the future I'm like, oh, I don't actually understand this piece, and I read it on the wiki, or like years down the road someone mentions it in a quick tip, right? Like, quick tip, this is how you socket watch stones. Like, if I find that out years later, I'm like, dude, I've been playing for this many years and I never found out. And there are plenty of people who do that. Plenty of people I see on Reddit who are like, oh man, I've been playing for like 4 years already. I've been playing since Ambush League and I didn't know that, I don't know, the space button, if you don't set anything, closes all the windows. I'm just spitballing here, but you get the point, right? I feel like I'm not that person who's able to just recite the encyclopedia of Path of Exile, which is also why, you know, a lot of times I'm like, you know what, I'll leave it up to those smarter than me to figure out builds, mechanics, why things are the way they are. Because that's not me. I just want to play. At the end of the day, you come to this channel, if you're a new player, I feel like you can learn off of anybody. If you're an experienced player, you're probably watching somebody who seems more inexperienced than you play. Because at the end of the day, it probably just feels like a big noob playing Path of Exile. And honestly, that's how I want to experience this game. Every league, I want to play it like as if I'm a baby, you know? Like I've just been introduced to a new world and I don't know anything. I like that feeling, you know, playing a game where you just don't know everything and you're slowly rediscovering things, which is why I think I like to take breaks in Path of Exile every now and then. Typically I end up participating in every league in some form or some way, But there are times where maybe I would participate in a league for only a month or a month and a half, and then come back later, and you kind of forget some of the mechanics. Oh, rip. You kind of forget some of the mechanics, and you come back and it's like, oh, is this how it worked? I didn't know that. Maybe you did, maybe you just forgot, but at the end of the day, you're like, that was cool, I learned something new today. And I really like that feeling of just like discovering new things all the time. Rest and scrub core noob shit. Man, these guys are mean. You're gonna need a blanket and suntan lotion because you're never gonna get off that beach, jackass. Some of these insults are just like... some of them are a bit witty. Some of, like, what is this thigh maggot? Oh, I guess that's sort of... I think that's a boss. Talamoana motherfucker. These are getting a little out of hand, don't you think?
You're right.
Okay, so we got a Twizzle. That's interesting. We could potentially use it on like a wacky, I don't know, kinetic blast build, potentially.
Bring me back something nice.
Okay. A staunching flask. I should keep that actually. Sanctified life flask of staunching. I actually don't have a... Oh wait, I do. I have a staunching flask. Good, good. Alright, so the last thing we have to do... last thing we have to do is complete the harbor bridge, and then we'll be on our way to Act 9. I'm really happy about that because I really do want to be in Act 9. I want to go to the desert areas and farm up Imperial Legacies so I can get a 6-link bow. I think that's one of those areas where I'm actually going to farm a little bit. You know how some people like to farm Blood Aqueducts for Tabulas? I don't want the Tabula, I want the Imperial Legacy. I want the 6-link bow. And honestly, I don't care about the attack speed that much. Obviously, having more attack speed is going to be really good, but I'm doing just fine with a 1.2 attack speed bow. Like, honest to God, 1.2 attack speed bow. I'm surprised nobody's yelled at me yet. I bet none of you have noticed. Maybe you have, I don't know. But it's really bad. I recognize that. And basically I'm of the attitude of, you know, if it ain't broke, do I really need to fix it? You know what I mean? Probably. The answer is probably it should be fixed, and I acknowledge that, but basically what I'm trying to say is I'm on a 1.2 attack speed bow. It's pretty bad, but I'm doing fine. So I would love for an upgrade, and I bet I can get one pretty easily, like a 1.5 attack speed bow. Just 4-socket it, 4-link it. This bow isn't even that good, you know? The minions deal 52% increased damage mod is pretty good. So I'm probably gonna need to wait until I get another essence at the very least before I do something, but other than that, I want them to be together so I can stack up Berlins. Oh, this is perfect. There we go. Look at that. Look at those Berlin stacks. Okay, now I'm kind of low on mana though. Kinda wish I had some mana leech or mana regen, but well, we did it just fine, so whatever. 28 to life. I had one that's 56. Man, my quiver is really good. 56 life, 7% attack speed, and then just some damage. I like that.
Remember, humanity needs us.
Okay, physical damage reduction while there's only one enemy. 20% chance to take 50% less area damage from hits. Let's take Solaris for a little bit more mitigation. Ooh. Oh, okay. Let's spawn a Metamorph as well. I suppose we're gonna summon some kind of weird Solaris Metamorph hybrid. Okay, so we're gonna use Lunaris for that currency. And then jewelry, currency, extra cold damage, glacial cascade, extra cold damage, ice crash, lunar storm, lunging strike, fireball barrage. Okay, so fireball barrage is the only one that really concerns me. I don't really know what lunar storm is. And it seems fireball barrage is fine because my totems are actually blocking it, which is hilarious. Well, that was pretty easy. Okay, I'm ready. Move on to the next area. Blood Aqueduct. I could farm a Tabula here, but I actually don't think I want one. I mean, I already have a 5-link on my chest. And I'm perfectly happy with this 5-link. It has a lot of life, you know? And I think my 6-link is gonna come from the Imperial Legacy, from the bow. At the end of the day, that bow 6-link is what I'm looking for anyways. Like later on I'm gonna want a 6-link on the bow on an Elder base so I can get vicious projectiles so we can get a 7-link. But yeah. This is basically what we want, so. Now I should start thinking about what's my next level of mitigation. It's probably going to be something like, I'm not sure, endurance charges, block. It seems that later on in the game, the big thing that's going to kill me is going to be degen. Fortify is going to provide a lot of help, but degen is probably not going to work with Fortify. So I suppose one way to mitigate it is a lot of regeneration, which kind of works out for the champion. I think he does have a lot of life regen. Like right now, how much do I have? 292. That is a lot. 292 life regen per second. It's a pretty big deal. And hopefully as we pick up more life nodes, we get more and more life regen. So maybe that's what I'm gonna do. And then I do want to attack on endurance charges. I just don't know how to generate it. Enduring Cry would be one method, but that just seems so clunky, you know? Warlord's Mark isn't really gonna work, I don't think. I could potentially just get 2 endurance charges by crafting minimum endurance charges. I believe that's a June mod. That's something I can do, but basically I just want all the different forms of mitigating against damage over time, because I think that's what the Awakener has. And Fortify and Armor, if I can stack up Armor enough, I feel like it could be enough. Against elemental damage, I actually don't know. Hopefully just having 76% all resist is enough. I don't know. Fortify as well as 76% all resist.
Oh, see ya. See ya.
Alright, this is perfect. We are now in Act 9. Hopefully we'll make it to Act 10 tomorrow, or at least in the next 2 episodes. And I'm assuming it's going to take at least 2 episodes, so around an hour and a half. And then we'll get into maps. Merciless Lab, maps, all of that good stuff. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, as always, you can leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more updates in the future. Otherwise, keep in touch, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.